Hey brawlers, welcome to the Brawling Pit. We talk about all things casual and kitchen table magic like Brawl and EDH. You are listening to episode 31. I am Jonathan and he is Jacob.
Howdy, fella.
Hello. Today we have something great for you brawlers out there. Last week we gave you our Boros deck, one of my favorite being a red player. It was very aggro-y, and I hope you guys have a chance to, fiddle with it or play with it. Let us know, by the way, if you did. Really interested to know what that deck is doing for you. But this week, we're going to continue the deck tech train and talk about not one, but two different decks. We're going to talk about Trostani Discordant for the Celestia deck and Lazav Multifarious for the Demir deck.
And before we get into that, how was your week?
It was great. How about yours?
It was busy, but it was alright. Typical work week.
A typical work week.
Yeah, nothing new.
Yeah, I was
Halloween's
sick.
around the corner, though.
Halloween is around the corner. Oh,
Any plans?
man. Absolutely no plans.
Every
Every single year, I told myself I need to buy that Jace rope from eBay, and I never remember to do that. So yeah, this year I'm gonna go as Lazav Multifarious.
I think that actually sounds really cool.
Yeah, because
And
he can shapeshift into anyone, and I choose to shapeshift into Johnathan.
That's a good choice. And I didn't even explicitly mean with magic, but I guess that technically isn't wrong. Yeah, I think my store, we did like a dress up or something. Like if you came and dressed up, I think it was like one time when F&M was on a Friday, and you came dressed up, like you got free entrance to F&M,
Oh wow.
and I showed up. I put absolutely zero effort into my costume. Okay, you know those the Mickey Mouse wizard hats that you get at Disneyland?
Yeah.
Okay, I had one. They're like $35. They're stupid expensive for no reason.
Jesus.
I had one from when I was a kid, and I like just wore that, and I'm like, I'm a wizard. And then I came and I showed up. He's like, okay, fine, you can have your free entry. I'm like, yes, it worked. And then I proceeded not to wear my wizard hat for the rest of the night because it was too small.
Wow. Well, at least you got your free entry.
I did. I like the guy. We the store owner. We're on good terms. Right? I didn't like screw him out of anything. He knew.
Yep.
So yeah, Halloween right around the corner, and plans and stuff will solidify as we get closer to that. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have Celestia, Trostani, and Discordant.
Yeah, she's 3 green white for a 1/4, and she's a creature lord. So other creatures you control get +1/+1. And when she comes into the battlefield, you get 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink. Also, just as a side bonus at the beginning of your end step, each player gain control of everything they own. So no mind control shenanigans when Trostani's on the table. She's really, really strong, being a token generator herself and generating 2 nonetheless, and being able to pump everything that you generate is quite insane.
Yeah, I love Trostani a lot. I really liked the previous Ravnica Trostani too. That was really cool.
Yeah, populating is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember in standard, I remember the curve out that I played was like Trostani into Advent of the Worm, which is a 4-minute instant where you get to make a 5/5 worm token. And then I populated it. It was great.
Oh, jeez.
man.
And you gain 10 life out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Speaking of life gain, the moment I see this Trostani, I also think of the exact same things. Tokens and life gain. Why life gain? Because everything made by this guild, there are 1/1s, have lifelink on them. So, well, let's jump right into the deck, right? Like last time, we're gonna divide the decks into sections, like different packages. And we're gonna start with the ramp package because
that's one of Green's like biggest strengths, right?
Yeah, the ramp is strong with this deck. We have Llanowar Elves. Everyone know what that does. Grow from the ashes. Keep in mind they do come in untapped, so if you can kick it,
That's
kick
important.
it. Yeah.
That's huge.
We of course we have Growing Rights of Itlamoth. We haven't talked about this card a lot. Basically, when it enters the battlefield, you can do pondering for creatures, and if you have 4 or more creatures at the beginning of your end step, you can flip it into a better Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah, it is literally a better Gaia's Cradle because you have the upside of tapping for mana if you have nothing out.
Yep.
Actually, that's like the noob trap in elves. Is like when people are first learning elves and legacy with Gaia's Cradle, they'll like try to tap it for mana. But like, oh, you can't. It's really common. It seems like it wouldn't be. It's actually really common.
Yeah. One interesting thing I do want to bring up because this came up during my game night with my play group. At the beginning of your end step, if you have 4 creatures, even if they destroy something in response to the trigger, you still get to flip because it says at the beginning of your end step. Technically, it's not a trigger. So
yeah, so they have to kill it on the
main
on
phase.
the main phase. So that way, if you have like another creature and you're trying to play around like a sweeper or something and it kills something, you can just play something else before going to your end step.
Yep, exactly. So it's actually quite powerful. That one little side note. If you keep that in mind, it's gonna save you some games. The last card we have in the ramp package is most of the time this is gonna work. Song of Freyalise is 1 and a green for a saga that basically makes everything a Llanowar Elf in chapter 1 and 2, and chapter 3 pumps everyone.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's solid. And in a token based strategy, like all these modes are very relevant.
Oh yeah, and
it gives all your tokens convoke, even if you don't have a convoke spell.
yeah, it's
I guess it should. I guess it would be better to say it gives all your spells convoke.
Basically, it gives all your spells convoke. That's exactly what that card does.
Yeah.
Well put. Well put. Let's move on to the live game package. So, I think the essential, most important part of the live game package, the one that you see most often, are the tokens. The 1/1 soldier from Guilds of Ravnica and the 1/1 vampire from Ixalan, they all have lifelink. They all gain you life when they attack, when they block. So keep that in mind because it's gonna come into play.
Now my question is, I'm looking at these 2 cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Gates of Ravnica soldier just says lifelink, but the vampire has lifelink plus the reminder attacks. Now, neither of these are core sets, and typically in core sets they do put reminder attacks on like literally everything.
Yeah,
but Ixalan wasn't a core set, so I don't know what happened there.
but Ixalan was printed during a time when core set was not, which is important.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. So let's move on to the actual cards, like non-token cards in the live game package. The first 2 cards kind of combo with each other. I mean, like all of them do. But
hey, and you know what? Planes combos with all of your cards too.
Exactly,
all the ones that cost for
force.
Yeah, everything combos.
Yeah, but gonna talk about these 2 cards really quick. They're quite strong. Fountain of Renewal is 1 generic for an artifact that says at the beginning of your upkeep you gain 1 life. You can also sack it to draw a card. Look, you're almost never gonna do that in this deck. All right, don't do that.
That's actually rare because, like, typically, in like another deck where like gaining life wasn't the strategy, and you'd probably be like, wow, I can use this to gain maybe a couple points of life and then draw a card eventually, right?
Right.
But no, it's actually the opposite in this one.
Yeah, that gets you kind of into the payoff, right? Because Dawn of Hope is 1 and a white for an enchantment that says whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. You can also pay 4 to make a 1/1 white soldier creature with lifelink. But these 2 cards, if they are both on the battlefield, this basically says at the beginning of your upkeep, you can pay 2 and draw a card.
That's pretty good. And even if you're not sure, that you want to like commit 2 mana right at the beginning of your upkeep, like there's plenty of other avenues of where you'll gain life. So you don't have to decide right away. Like if you're not sure. Sometimes you'll have a load of mana and you're like, yeah, I'm probably gonna just draw a card every time. But not always. So there's even if you decide not to draw the card off the Fountain of Renewal, but you're not sure, you might do it later in your turn. Fear not. plenty of opportunities to gain life in your turn.
Yeah, gaining life is so easy in this deck because a Johnny's Welcome is a thing. It's white for an enchantment that says, whenever a creature enters the battlefield you control, you gain 1 life.
This is literally a Soul Sisters trigger in Modern. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's a stronger Soul Sister because it's not on the body. It's not an
Yeah,
enchantment.
actually, I'm curious. I haven't seen a recent Soul Sisters list in quite a long time because it kind of got pushed out a little bit, I feel like. But I wonder if that deck were to make a comeback, like an actual big comeback, if they would play this instead. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a good card. And what else is a good card though? Resplendent Angel is 1 white for a 3/3. Now this fits both of our strategies, both lifelink and token, because not only does this Flying Angel have a very relevant clause, all right? You can pay 3 white to give it +2/+2 and lifelink until end turn. And at the beginning of each end step, if you gain 5 or more life this turn, you create a 4/4 white angel creature token with Flying Vigilance.
Yeah, that is going to get out of hand very quickly.
Yeah, she can end games by herself.
And I reckon that, you could probably start triggering that pretty consistently, like turn 4, turn 5 even.
Yeah, you probably don't even need to use the pump because of the
Yeah,
amount
no.
of life gain this deck has.
So dumb. And like with the Fountain of Renewal, you've already got 1. And
Yeah.
if you play a Johnny's Welcome and you play another, there's 2. It's like, oh, you really need 3 more. And by the way, there's a lot of life in this
Yep,
deck. So.
exactly. Yep. Like attack with the 2 soldier creatures that Trostani mix, and that's 4 life for you.
Yep.
Yep.
Crazy
Strong. That's our life game package, and that's not the strong part of this deck. That's just like a kind of like a plan B, right? If the plan A, the strongest plan, doesn't
that
work.
sounded pretty good too. That plan B did sound really pretty good.
Yeah, that plan B is quite powerful. But the plan A, of course, is the token package. There are plenty of cards in the token package. We already talked about 2 of them, Dawn of Hope and Resplendent Angel. They both make tokens by themselves. We also have Emera, Soul of the Accord, and we talked about her extensively.
We've talked about her like a million times. Yeah. She's great.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a way to abuse her in this deck. I actually thought about when I was building the Celestia deck, I thought about taking it to the tapping shenanigans strategy, and I just decided that Trostani is a lot stronger.
Yeah.
You don't need to force tap Emera. Trostani is much stronger in the brawl setting. So Emera makes tokens fairly easily whenever she taps, which happens quite often. So quite good. We also have Assure and Assemble. It's a split card. The first half basically protects something, but the second half makes 3 2/2s for 6 mana.
6 power toughness across 3 bodies for 6 mana and instant speed.
And
that's pretty decent.
And they have Vigilance. Vigilance is actually important for this deck because you can attack first and then tap them for Convoke.
Yeah. So this is just all around a great card. I like it.
Yep. We also have some payoff cards here and there. Camaraderie is sorcery for 6 that basically is a Sphinx's Revelation in the token deck.
Stupid.
You gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of creature you control, and creatures you control gain +1/+1 until end of turn.
This card is... thankfully, they made it a sorcery. If they made it an instant, it would actually be too good. Because, like, yeah, you miss out on the +1/+1 till end turn if you do it on somebody else's turn, but you don't have to discard immediately. You know, you get your all your mana with all these cards.
Yep.
So, oh man.
Yep. It's quite
Crazy.
good.
I mean, it's so good.
It's just good. Like I don't even know what else to say. Like, why would you not play that in a token
Yeah, you have
deck?
to. Hashtag obligated.
Yeah. We have some other token generation. Legion's Landing is pretty good. 1 white for a legendary enchantment that makes a 1/1 when it comes in. The 1/1 has lifelink, by the way. And if you attack with 3 or more creatures, you flip it into Adanto the First Fort, which is a legendary land that allows you to tap for white, or you can tap 2 and a white to make a 1/1 lifelink.
You know, I think transforming this is going to be pretty easy in this deck.
Oh, super easy. Like,
yeah.
When we were playing this deck, I cannot remember a turn where that deck doesn't have more than 3 creatures out. Well, maybe like turn 1.
Yeah, you get to get that going plus a 1/1.
Yep.
It's yeah, pretty solid.
Yep.
Pretty solid. You know what else is solid?
What else is solid?
Conclave Cavalier. I
Conclave
went
Cavalier
like
is OP.
yeah. Oh man,
I
I was a huge fan of this last week.
I get crushed by this card in the MTG Arena so much, so much. Oh my gosh. What do you even do
It's
with
just
that?
it's just so good, dude. I remember I had I think my first seal pool. I finally got to try out MTG Arena as well. My first seal pool. I played like junk or something, and I had this card. I'm like, this card is worth playing. It's so good.
Oh my gosh. Just 4 mana for an 8/8. Basically.
Yeah, it's.
That's a lot of stats on 4 mana.
I think they should have made this a rare. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is like for the limited environment. It's so good.
It feels like a downshifted rare.
Yeah.
We also have Lazav Champion and Conclave Guildmage. They're both just 2/2 bodies, but they're a good mana sink when you need them to make creatures.
Yeah, and the trample output on the guild mage is surprisingly relevant when you get to the late game.
Oh yeah, it's super relevant in this deck. You know what else is relevant though? Like we talked about the strongest commander in Brawl a lot. Helm of the Host is the 4 mana artifact equipment.
I knew you'd say that.
That says it equips for 5. That was very expensive. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creates a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token is not legendary. If the equipped creature is legendary, and that token gains haste, you keep it forever.
So dumb.
So there are a lot of good targets where you can dump Helm of the Host
Like
on.
Conclave
Trostani
Cavalier
herself, yeah. Oh, Conclave Cavalier makes a bunch of 4/4s that makes 2/2s. Why not? Putting it on Trostani now.
Oh
Now
no!
your team gets progressively pumped every single turn, and you still get those 2/1/1.
Get a second
soldiers,
Resplendent Angel
I
for
know.
2 triggers every turn.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Like almost everything is
Yeah.
good. You put it on, dude. I don't know.
Yeah,
put it on any of our Tunfolk targets.
too good. Oh god, I mean having 2 12/12s can't be bad.
So I do want to talk about the Tunfolk targets because Golta, while not technically being Convoke, it's
He's
basically
pretty
a
much
Convoke.
Convoke though. Like he
Yeah.
operates similarly. He like he rewards you for having a board.
Yep. Golta Primal Hunger is green for a 12/12 with trample.
Yeah, in this deck basically.
Yep. And Impervious Great Worm is also great because it's 7 green for a 16/16 indestructible worm. And with the Guildmage's trample ability, now this actually becomes really
And
good.
you know the indestructible part of this is surprisingly relevant.
Oh yeah, there are plenty of destroy.
Yeah, because like if I'm staring across the 16/16 and you know it can have trample very easily, like all right, I can Doomblade it. I don't know about you, but I can Doomblade it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you can't.
Oh yeah,
'Cause it's
I mean you can.
indestructible.
I mean
you can, yeah, target it anyway.
but yeah. You know, this deck also plays March on the Multitudes. This is another one we've
boy.
gone like, you know, crazy over.
Secure the Waste on steroid.
Oh,
Well, speaking of March of Multitudes, I think I forgot to mention one card in the token package.
oh yeah?
Define Visitation is 3 white for an enchantment that says if one or more creature token will be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead.
This card is nuts. Nuts.
Yep.
Can you imagine like Divine Visitation, like, and then like next turn you March on the Multitude? Oh my god.
That is quite strong. The only downside with Divine Visitation, and it's like a slight downside, not really, it's a non-bow of Helm of the Host, but it's actually quite unlikely that you get both out.
I mean, well, like, if I have both of these in my if I'm at a point in the game where I have both of these cards, I'm not disappointed that it's a non-bow. I'm like, great. If they blow up one of these, I have another one to rely on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they get hit by the same removal, and artifact and enchantment removal is surprisingly kind of like lacking up a little bit for now. Now that might change. That could change at any time, and it may vary on your local meta. But at least in
Yeah.
mine, that kind of laxed up a little bit.
Yep.
So if they blow up one, they spend like their only enchantment or artifact removal on one of them. It's like great, I have the other one. Not disappointed at all. Not in the least.
Oh yeah. There's even nothing to say. I mean, they're just
Yeah.
they're just good.
Oh man. Yeah, this deck is awesome.
Yeah, this
Love
deck
it.
is absolutely
We haven't even gotten through
amazing.
everything yet, but this deck is already awesome.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the part where the cards that protects your plan. So you have your plan A and your plan B. The side quest is to protect your plan so you can win before your opponent wins, which I think is most of the time an objective of a game, unless you're going for something else. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're talking about the protection package here, and there are multiple cards. So I think the most important one is Shalai, Voice of Plenty. It's a 4-drop for 3/4 flying, and it says you planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control has hexproof.
Pretty good.
You also pay 6 to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
That's really relevant. Having, a 4-mana 3/4 flyer is already pretty decent. Giving everything hexproof also very good.
Yep.
And then you're in the late game. You have 6 mana, which isn't unreasonable for this deck. You'll have 6 mana very quickly most of the time, way before your opponent. Pump your team.
Yeah.
Permanently. That's really awesome. This deck has just got everything.
Yep. Joint shields is something we talked about. Is the heroic intervention got rotated out, so this is our nerfed copy of heroic intervention. 3 green white for an instant that untaps all your creatures and give them hexproof and is indestructible. So this protects you against the board wipes that everyone packs. Like who doesn't pack board wipes? Joint shields protects you against that and makes the effects asymmetrical to your favor.
Yeah, it's no longer a question of will I have a board wipe against me? It's more of a question of how many and when will they happen.
Right. Some other removals. A permanent removal was a Conclave Tribunal. Was 3 and a white for an enchantment, basically an O-ring, and you can convoke it out. So
That's a pretty good upside. Like
that's really good.
I'm not a fan. I don't think anybody's a fan of like the 4-mana O-rings because it's like 4 mana for the O-ring. Like O-ring already had kind of like a downside, so it was reasonable at 3 mana. But
Yep.
like 4 mana O-ring, like it's a little slow.
Yep.
But this has convoke. I think that's a worthy trade.
Yeah.
Very, very worthy trade.
And I do want to mention that like when you're convoking things out, the convoker,
It can be sick.
yeah, you can tap them when they're sick. They
Yeah,
don't need
so
to have haste.
you could like March of the Multitudes into a Conclave Tribunal. No need to wait.
Oh, I think if I cast March of Multitude, I'm casting it into Impervious Great Worm and then cast Volta for 2.
Oh man.
Other removals. We have Remorseful Cleric for the Graveyard Hate, and we also have Knight of Autumn. Knight of Autumn is pretty amazing. It's 1 green white for a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you can choose one. Either put 2 +1/+1 counters on her, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or you gain 4 life. Very, very relevant. All 3 modes.
I love this card. Yeah, all the modes are good.
Yep. It's either a 3-drop 4/3, a 3-drop 2/1 that destroys an artifact or enchantment, a 3-drop 2/1 that gets you a 4/4 angel because you have a spending angel out.
Yeah. I remember when we were first talking about this card, I raved about it. I was like, it's just a solid card. Not flashy, but like everything. It's like Reclamation Sage, but better. You have way more options with it.
Right,
I
absolutely.
love it.
And
love
the last card we want to talk about, for a deck before we move on to the mirror deck, is Vivid Revival. 4 and a green for sorcery that returns up to 3 target multicolor cards from your graveyard to your hand, and then exile it.
The reason why we concluded that we wanted Vivid Revival in this deck, like 5 mana sorcery is kind of slow, 5 mana to basically do nothing. But then, as we were talking about it and as we were designing the deck, and we were like looking at March of the Multitudes and camaraderie, and we were like, man, if we should play blue so we can get flashback and jumpstart. But like, no, let's not. Well, I mean, this is like the second greatest thing. Like, how we were basically like, how great would it be if we could just cast these again? Oh, but we're not in blue. That's okay. We'll just play this card instead. Good enough.
Yeah, exactly. It brings them back right away, and it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful
And
when it works.
we have the upside that it's not flashback. So March of the Multitudes is now a good target as well.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, this deck is very solid. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Perfect score.
Good meme.
A good 5 out of 7. Perfect score.
Like 60%.
Precisely 5 out of 7. Perfect score. All right, so we're gonna get into Demir.
Yep. Next up, we have Lazav. Now, this Demir deck is very, very tricky to play. But I would argue that out of the 5 decks I built, by the way, yeah, there are 5. Of the 5 decks I built, this is the strongest one.
Okay.
And we just
now,
talked about the Celestia deck and the Boros deck, and they were like, wow, so powerful.
Yeah, now hold on a second. That's a big claim. But what if we both build this deck, right? This Demir deck. What if we both built it and we played against each other? All right, are you following me so far?
I don't want to.
Are you following me so far on that one?
I'm following you.
Okay. Could you say in that case we're playing Demir? Huh?
Lazav the Multifarious is blue-black for a 1/3 shapeshifter legendary creature. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 1.
I deserve that one.
So surveil is a graveyard scry. Basically, you look at the top. You look at the top X, and you can put any number in the graveyard and any number back up top of your library in any order you want. And for Lazav, you can also pay X and have it become a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with confirmed mana cost X. Except its name is still Lazav the Multifarious, still legendary, and it has this ability. Very, very interestingly, in this deck, we're playing a Surveil deck. And unlike, it's counterintuitive, but you want to dump all your creatures in your graveyard. Most of them, anyways.
Yeah, most
when you're
of them.
playing this deck, you don't care about putting creatures in your hand because your graveyard is your hand. So there are plenty of ways for you to surveil your creatures into your graveyard. I do want to bring up, before we talk about anything, I do want to bring up a second commander in this deck. There's a second commander, and he's pretty good. Helm of the Host is a 4 mana for an equipment that equips for 5.
Oh my god! I knew you'd do this. I knew you'd do it.
So, I do want to point out that Helm of the Host is a little bit of a non-bow with Lazav because if you do equip Lazav with Helm of the Host, and you use the token to activate the activate ability, the token will become legendary. However, the reason why Helm of the Host is in the deck is because
it's the best commander in the format. And so if you equip Lazav with Helm of the Host and you attack, you get a copy of Lazav, right? And this copy is a mirror image of Lazav. It's the mirror copy. Come on.
not only that, but it's not for copying Lazav. It's to copy those creatures that you unfortunately got into your hand. Oh, I got a Trostani into my hand.
Oh,
How unfortunate. Oh, darn. Oh, I guess I'll just make more Atrata with him of those. By the way, speaking of Atrata, alternate win cons is a theme of this deck.
When they killed the Helm of the Host thing that that it's equipped to, it's like, oh, I'll just get it back with Lazav, no problem.
Exactly. But Atrata, the Silencer, 2 blue-black for a 3/5 that can be blocked. Of course, Vampire Assassin, whatever. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile target creature that player controls and put a hit counter on that card. That player loses the game if they own 3 or more exile cards with hit counters on them. and then you shuffle a Trotta back into your deck.
You mean errata?
I mean errata, sorry. I do want to bring up. I mean, Atrata is one of the alternate win cons. Especially with Help of the Host, Atrata becomes quite broken because now you get a new Atrata every single turn, and that's quite strong. It's a quick one.
And
It also removes something by herself. Even if the token does it, and that's great. Well, let's move on to the next part of the alternate win con package. We are also playing the Revel and Riches combo.
it's a good card.
And of course, Revel and Riches is 4 and black for an enchantment that's, basically says whenever a creature an opponent control dies, you make a treasure. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. Of course, to help your treasure plan, you also have Spell Swindle, which is 3 blue instant that counters target spell and create X colorless treasure artifact tokens where X is the spell's confirmed mana cost. If you use this to counter Trostani, you have 5 treasures. Or you just need 5 more. With Revel out, you can play Ritual of Suit, which is 2 black that says destroy all creatures with confirmed mana cost 3 or less. This is sorcery.
I think it's fairly costed at 4.
It's fairly costed at 4. It kills all tokens, and against the token deck, makes more than 10 treasures. Use the extra treasures for your control package to counter some spells and bounce something, maybe play a Trotta.
Or maybe you win the game with Revel and Riches.
Yeah. Do what you want.
We're not cops.
We're not cops.
Actually, I applied to be a cop.
Damn.
Yeah,
Well,
solely so that I can be a contrarian when you say we're not cops. I can say, well, actually, I'm a cop.
If you're a cop, then you must be really good at surveilling. We have a surveil package in this deck. I think
a good one.
So the 2 key cards in the surveil package, right? I want to talk about first this information campaign is 1 blue-black for an enchantment that says when it enters the battlefield, you draw 1 card and each opponent discards a card. All right, it's a 3-for-1 already. That's already good. I mean, in the multiplayer game. Whenever you surveil, return this information campaign to its owner's hand.
Seems quite good.
That seems almost like half the cards in this deck surveils for you, so that's good. The other key card in the surveil package is Enhanced Surveillance. 1 in a blue for an enchantment that says you may look at an additional 2 cards each time you surveil. You can also exile this card to shuffle your graveyard back into your library. So it's kind of like a fixed Elixir of Immortality that also helps you surveil. You can surveil really quickly with this thing, and that's amazing.
And the extra 2 cards really help you a lot with that too.
Yeah, like now when you play Lazav, instead of surveil 1, you surveil 3. That's amazing. You're dumping 3 creatures into your bin that Lazav can copy.
And I really like how with surveil, it's kind of like a half scry, and then you can put anything back in any order. So
yep.
I mean, you can't bottom it. They go to the graveyard instead, obviously. But like you don't like the you don't like the top card, but you like the bottom card or whatever, and you're trying to keep that top card there for whatever reason. Maybe you might need it later, but like you don't need it for at this. Like, yeah, right.
Yep. There are some other there are a lot of other cards that surveils for you. Let's talk about a couple of them. Notion Rain is 1 blue-black that surveils 2, draw 2, and deals 2 to you. That's great. And if you have Enhanced Surveillance out, surveil 4 and draw 2 is insane. Basically, Enhanced Surveillance makes every surveil card good. Prize of Fame is 3 in a black for an instant that says this spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a legendary creature. It destroys target creature as well as surveilling 2. This kills all commanders.
For 2 mana.
Yeah, for 2 mana, kill any non-planeswalker commanders. That's pretty good.
And I really like how it's like it's like I think it's a balance card. Just it's not too good. It's good, but it's not too good. It's not like broken, but it's also not bad.
Yeah. What else is not bad though? Mission Briefing is Blue for an instant that says Surveil 2. Then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard, and then you may cast it, and then exile, blah, blah, blah. A Snapcaster Mage that surveils for you without a body.
And one thing that we've already mentioned when we first talked about mission briefing is that this does not gain flashback. This is like kind of a better flashback in a way. So like if you're playing with Force of Will, then you can pay the alternative cost because flashback already was an alternative cost.
Exactly.
So in that regard, this is slightly better.
Yep. Pretty good. Sinister Sabotage is basically a cancel with Surveil 1. So, pretty good. Connive Concoct, kind of, it's part of the control package, but it also surveils for you on the Concoct side. Connive gains control of target creature of power 2 or less. Relevant more often than you think. Because it
Yeah,
can pick
if you
things like
if you see
Trostani.
that, yeah, I was gonna say if you see they have a Trostani, that looks
Yeah.
good. I think I'll take it.
It also takes Aurelia.
Yeah, it also takes Aurelia.
Yeah, so like already 2 relevant commanders that we talked about. Connive is so good. Concoct surveils 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. When you're in a pinch and you want your Ravenous Chupacabra back, that's the trick. Moving on, we have Mephitic Vapors, 2 and a black for a sorcery that says all creatures get -1/-1 until on turn. Surveil 2. Kills all tokens, basically. Also kills the Healer Hawk.
It does, and the Surveil too. I think it's really relevant. Obviously, it's relevant in this deck, but
Yeah.
like, I think if it didn't have Surveil too, I would question the playability of this card.
Unplayable with those Surveil 2, but with it's quite good. Discovery and Dispersal. Discovery is actually quite good. It allows you to filter your deck really quickly. There's a 1 and a Demir for sorcery that surveils 2, then draw a card. In a pinch, like if you have a 2-land hand in your opening hand and Discovery, I would consider keeping that because now drawing to the 3rd land is really easy. Just need
You
to cast
remember
Discovery.
Preordain?
Yeah.
This is like fixed Preordain. This card, Discovery.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of with an upside because Dispersal comes with it. If the Discovery have is not relevant, now for each opponent, you bounce something back and then they have to discard a card. If they have no cards in hand, they discard that card you bounce. We also have some creatures with Surveil tagged onto it. Doom Whisperer is 3 black for a 6/6 flying trample. We already talked about how much it passes the vanilla test. And you can pay 2 life and Surveil 2.
They did not make. I'm gonna go on a little rant again. This is the second rant I've had on this exact card. Okay, they did not need to make this a 6/6. That's ridiculous. They could have made this a 5/5.
5
and it would
mana
have seen
6/6
no
with
less
flying
play.
trample. No downside. That's crazy.
Yeah, they literally could have made this a 5/5, or even a 5/4 or a 4/5, and it would have seen equal amounts of play. They did not need to make this a 6/6.
Nope.
Absolutely stupid.
Or they can make it a 6 mana 6/6 and it will still be playable. This card is quite strong.
Actually, the 6 mana makes the 6 mana is infinitely. I think I'd rather play a 5 mana 4/4 flyer than like a 6 mana. I don't know. Yeah, the extra mana I think matters more. But that's still a good argument though.
Let's compare the 6/6 for 5 with a 4/3 for 6. Dream Eater is 4 blue for 4/3 Nightmare Sphinx with flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 4. When you do, you may return target non-land permanent and opponent control to its owner's hand.
So this is like another like mana versus power toughness argument.
Yep.
I think if they made this like 5 mana, and then just not made it not given it such a strong body, that would be way better because you're playing this for the effect.
Yeah, you don't really care about whether or not it is a 4/3. I mean, you do.
I mean, yeah, you do, but like if it was like even if it had to be like a 5 mana 2/1 flash flyer surveil 4, and I would rather play that over this card.
Yep. And this card and this card is actually a terrible target for Lazav to copy. You would much rather copy the Doom Whisperer.
So stupid. Every time I hear Doom Whisperer, it's like the card is so good it tilts me.
We also have House Guild Mage. It's blue black for 2/2. You can pay 1 and blue to tap, and it says target creature doesn't untap during its control's next untap step. Note it doesn't tap something down. I've had something make that mistake on me. I've had someone make that mistake on me, and it was really difficult for me to break the bad news to him. It was like, oh, okay, it doesn't untap.
I remember speaking of like it doesn't tap or untap or whatever, I have somewhat of like a guilty story on something similar like this. I feel
Yeah.
kind of bad, but this was a Grand Prix. This was like the highest level
Oh.
competition where and so at Grand Prix, like these as I said, this is like the highest level of competition, and if you make a mistake, it's on you. There's no take backs. Like this is like everybody's cutthroat. Like this is like top of the top.
Yeah.
That's what the Grand Prix is. I remember. I feel kind of bad. This was like round 3 or something. There was this kid. He was like 15 or something, and I'm undefeated 2-0. And this is round 3, and he played a card on my guy, a 3 mana like like typically the 3 mana blue enchantments to like tap something down and then
Yeah.
get untap, right? Those are really really common, like claustrophobia. Okay, well
Yeah.
this is something really really similar to claustrophobia, and but it didn't tap it down. What it did is it said tap it, and at the beginning of the untap step, tap it as a trigger. And what this poor kid did was he missed that trigger, and so I attacked him and killed him. And he's like, "Wait,
Oh
that's supposed to
my
be tapped down."
gosh.
And but this being a Grand Prix, I'm like, "You missed the trigger because it wasn't just yeah,
Wow.
yeah."
Unbelievable.
I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, like it is a Grand Prix. That's your job.
Wow.
So yeah. Now, but like in casual play, like if you're in a play
Ugh.
group, I would recommend never, ever, ever pulling that, like ever.
Yep.
You know, it's just,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
not appropriate for the casual setting. But yeah, gotta get that skeleton out of my closet. You know, been holding on to that one for a while.
Wow. Anyways, the other half of House Guild Mage allows you to surveil 2 for 3 mana. We're starting to move into the payoff portion of the surveil package. Thoughtbound Phantasm is blue for 2/2 with Defender. When you surveil, put a +1/+1 counter on it. As long as it has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it can attack as though it doesn't have Defender. This thing is great if you drop it on turn 1 and you just start surveilling. It gets uncontrollable, but this thing is also great for Lazav to copy because if Lazav copies it and you start surveilling, those +1/+1 counters stays on Lazav even if it shapeshifts into something else down the road.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, so
Just to clarify, the way copies work, it might be copying is for the most part pretty simple, but there are some technical times where it can be very complicated. So you don't copy the counters when you initially make the copy. You copy a way to remember it is you copy just whatever the card says. You don't copy any counters on it. You don't copy like damage on it or anything like that. Just whatever the card says.
yep.
That's an easy way to remember. So you won't get any counters that it already has on it. But that is true when Lazav decides to shapeshift to something else, or he somehow loses the shapeshift. I'm not sure how. Then he'll keep the counters on it. And that's really important to know
Absolutely.
because yeah,
Another great card, another great payoff card for the surveil package is Blood Operative. It's 1 black black for a 3/1 Vampire Assassin with lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile target card from a graveyard, not yours, of course. You exile the things in the Izzet deck or the Golgari deck. You exile their relevant cards in their graveyard. Or you exile the Modrotha deck's things. I don't know. Exile something that's not in your graveyard, please. However, when you surveil, if Blood Operative is in your graveyard, you may pay 3 life. If you do, return it to your hand.
yeah. This guy is actually quite interesting in that while he can't like he's not like a huge sizable body. You know, he's only a 3-1, but um he comes back You know, he's quite a dependable blocker. You
Yeah.
know, because in this deck you'll be surveilling quite a bit.
Yep.
So you'll always have like a 3/1 blocker in your hand for the most part. You
Yeah.
know,
And
and
most of the time when it blocks for you, it gains you to 3 life that brings to for you to bring it back anyways.
yeah. So this helps you stave off attacks early, and in the late game, if nobody has the board somehow, you know, this guy is going to be quick to come back. So, like I said, while he's not the most powerful thing on the board, he'll be consistently there, and
Yep.
that does count for a lot.
Yep. Dark Blade Agent is 1 blue black for a 3/3. As long as you have surveilled this turn, it has Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Also, a great shift target for Lazav because it draws you a card.
Yeah, and you know, having death touch is a huge deterrent to blocking it. So
Yep. Also want to talk about the Mirror Spy Bug. Is just a blue-black for a 1/1 Flying Menace, and whenever you use Veil, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Same
this is
argument.
another guy. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
uh, why did they do this?
Yeah.
Why did they print it?
Yeah. Blue aggro, man.
Oh man.
Same argument. If you shapeshift into it with Lazav, the +1/+1 counter will stay on it, even if it shapeshifts away into something else. Quite, quite powerful. In both on the battlefield and in your graveyard. Last card I want to talk about is Whispering Snitch. Is 1 black for a 1/3 that says whenever you surveil for the first time each turn, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life.
That is gonna rack up a lot of damage over the course of the game if they
Yeah,
don't kill
because
this.
you're gonna surveil so much.
And I
And
mean, like, while it is only once per turn, like, but even if you do it 5 times, that's
yeah,
like if you're in a 4 play game, that's 15 damage.
exactly. And if you have Hem of the Host on Whispering Snitch, all of them will trigger. All your token copies will allow you to drain 1. So, for
And,
example, if you have 3 Whispering Snitch out, 2 of them are tokens, and you surveil the first time, then you're draining 3.
and you know, this is not gonna sound really, really obvious, but I kind of like, but also at the same time dislike the fixed drains. And what I mean by that is like if you look at the card text, it says specifically Whispering Stitch deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. Like
Yeah,
they fixed the amount that you gain. A lot of the previous drain effects from, you know, the days past
yeah,
would
like
just be you
extort or
gain,
yeah,
yeah, you gain however much life was drained. But in multiplayer games, that was like insanely busted, you know?
yep, yeah. Before they weren't really taking multiplayer into when they were designing cards, and nowadays when Commander is literally the most popular format that they have, they need to think about these things,
Yeah,
and they
so
did.
yeah, they did. So I mean, I hate it because you know I typically play these kind of cards because they're usually quite good. But on the other hand, it's like
Yep.
and overall, it's just a good choice.
Yep. I want to talk about ways to protect Lazav in this deck, and let's start with Naviel Predator. It's blue black for a 3/3 of flying and death touch, and it has hexproof. How does this protect Lazav, you may ask? If this is in your graveyard, as long as you have 4 mana up, Lazav will never die.
Yeah, and like barring any sweepers, he'll definitely be safe from any target removal for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, like board wipes will still kill Lazav, but like if they're trying to destroy Lazav and they forgot that this is in your graveyard, pay 4 and give Lazav
Quite easy to
hexproof.
forget.
Yep,
Or
really
even if
easy.
they don't forget, even like, hey, let me look at your graveyard. You know, like when you're holding up mana, like it's really easy to look at this guy and just look at this text box and be like, yeah, it doesn't matter, and then like go by. If
Yep,
they're not
and
careful, if they get like kind of careless and they're like looking, if they're looking for like really big things that you could do, like death touch, or if they're looking for big things that you can do before it dies, like death triggers. Like it's really easy to just skip all over this guy and be like, ah, it doesn't matter, and they rule it out and they forget.
absolutely. The other card that can protect Lazav is Pass Wall Adept. It's 1 and a blue for a 1/3 that says you can pay 2 and a blue to give target creature unblockable this turn. And giving Lazav unblockable is very relevant because a lot of these on hit or on attack triggers are quite strong.
Like Hell in the Host.
Like Helm of the Host. Well, Helm of the Host is not really on attack trigger. That's an on combat trigger.
True.
I most specifically want to talk about Thief of Sanity is 1 blue-black for a 2/2 flying specter. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you can look at the top 3 cards of that player's library, exile one of them face down, and put the rest into their graveyard. As long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, you may cast it, you may spend a mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. So
That's pretty good.
that's
You know, it reminds me a lot of
really good.
Hostage Taker.
Hostage Takers also in this deck. 2 blue-black for a 2/3 passes the vanilla test.
Oh yeah,
Because
for sure.
when it enters the battlefield, it excels
It
target
basically does the
artifact or
same
creature.
thing.
Yeah, allows you to cast them.
Yeah.
You know, another card in the control package, by the way, is Ravenous Chupacabra, because why not? Because why not?
Yeah, Chupacabras are pretty good, I've heard.
Yep.
Just a rumor. Yeah, I'm not confirmed or anything.
Yeah, but those are our Demir deck. Let us know what you think. I think the Demir deck is definitely stronger than everything else.
Really? I think the Selesnya deck is stronger than anything else.
Well, I don't know. I actually played with all the decks in a multiplayer setting, so this feels if you feel in control when you're playing this deck.
Yeah, you're playing blue black. Like, of course you're gonna feel the control deck.
Yep, it feels great when you're playing the
Personal
Demir
preference,
deck.
I suppose. I
Yeah,
like proactive strategies. You know, I like getting in there.
I'm more of a rep player, but this deck, the trickiness, the shenanigans that's built into this deck, I think a lot of times throw people off, and which is why it's so strong.
Oh, it is. Don't get me wrong. I think this deck also is really good, but I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. Actually, that's not a maybe. I'm definitely biased.
Yeah. But brawlers, let us know what you think. If you like the decks or if you dislike the decks, let us know. You can find us on our social media on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Brawling Pit. You can find us on Reddit at r/Brawling Pit. Email us at brawlingpitmtg@gmail.com, or you can visit our official website at brawlingpit.com. Let us know. Just we are interested, and these are quite powerful decks. I urge you to try it out.
I know what I'm trying out.
What are you trying out?
I'm gonna try out a super spicy new junk tokens list.
Who is your commander?
I don't know yet. Jonah. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying out. I know I'm definitely playing Selesnya, but I want to spice it up a little bit. I don't know how.
As always, thanks for listening. So Jacob,
What's up, dude?
Top 10 food when you're playing Magic the Gathering. Go.
Okay. So, does it have to be in a particular order?
No, just name 10.
Okay. So, 10th in no particular order, and man, I'm gonna get crucified for this. I know it. But pizza. Okay. Now, my biggest gripe, and I have the same gripe. My biggest gripe with pizza and Magic the Gathering is that when you eat it, your pizza isn't always the cleanest. You know, like your hands get dirty. I don't know about you guys, but some people are okay with this. You filthy, filthy degenerates. But I'm not okay with my cards getting dirty, even though they have sleeves and that's what they're made for. I still can't handle that. So like, if I eat pizza with my Magic cards, I'm holding paper towels everywhere, and I'm playing through my paper towel. I'm not touching my cards. And when I'm done, I wash my hands very thoroughly.
Especially if you're using like Eclipse leaves. Oh my gosh, they attract grease so easily. Oh boy!
I get plenty of grease on those even without eating pizza. Just for my hand oils.
You can probably get accused of marking cards if you have grease on your Eclipse sleeves.
Number 9, pretzels. 8, potato chips. I mean, even potato chips have a similar problem, but they just get like salty.
Chips are greasy too. Jeez.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, uh, 7. Oh, okay. So this is okay. So this is something else. Like a veggie plate. I love those, but I'm terrible because I eat 'em with ranch.
okay.
But it's okay. I
Yeah.
still
All
like
right.
them.
I not on my top 10, but okay.
No, in your top 10. Okay. Was it 7? So 6. I don't know, man. 10 is hard. Maybe we'll do 5. Okay, we'll go with 5. So this is number 2 is like little hard candies to, like suck on while you playing. For me personally.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, I mean, like the perfect thing because you don't have to worry about your hands getting sticky or anything. You just like
All
pop
right.
it from the
Oh,
wrapper in
okay,
your mouth,
okay, okay. That's
right?
fine. That's fine.
Um, Number 1. Once again, in no
Number
particular.
one.
This is no particular order. Um, okay, so this is not functional, but it's nostalgic for me. Panda Express, nostalgia, not for
Whoa.
functionality. Yeah, it's nostalgia.
Escalated quickly.
Yeah, actually, no. That actually is number 1. Like actual unironic number 1. Like with the order. So the first 4 were in no particular order. Number 1 is in the right order. Um, reason being is because I have a lot of fond memories with my past Magic friends. We were eating a lot of Panda. We played a lot of Magic. So
Mm.
um my
Ah.
best one of my best friends we ate Panda and we played a lot of EDH. I played Talon and he played Zagana, and it was just the
Damn.
greatest of times. But then I moved and I got out of Magic a little bit. Well, I mean,
It,
at least no, I don't want to say that. I moved and we couldn't play as much, so that kind of
the greatest time probably only because you're playing Talran, and I would argue that he probably wasn't having the
yeah.
greatest time.
I mean I miss my friend too. We kind of moved away and I couldn't play with him as often. So
Well, maybe if this friend is listening to the podcast, you can write us and let Jacob know, hey, I'm still here.
I doubt it. I doubt it. But I miss him. I miss my friend JB.
All right,
Yeah.
everyone, brawlers out there, look for JB and tell him to
What
contact
are your
us.
top? What's your top 5?
What? You want me to name my top
Yeah,
five
yeah, yeah.
too?
Now it's your
Oh,
turn. What's your
Jesus
turn?
Christ. In
Top
no
5.
particular order, KFC, because that's that's one of the go-to food that
But
my play
wait.
group
What
does.
from KFC? Just to be clear, what from
We
KFC?
usually get a bucket and some smashed potatoes and some coleslaws, and everyone eats them. A bucket of 20, by the way.
Right.
Um, yeah.
But do
So
you wash your hands or do you just play with the grease?
I eat with fork.
Okay. Oh, classy, classy.
So we have that. Uh, Geez, I usually get Costco pizza, and that I don't eat with fork, but
Right.
whatever.
Okay. So do we have the similar views on pizza and Magic cards? We gotta be
Yeah,
like really careful. Yeah.
I try not to eat pizza when I'm playing. I eat
But
pizza
it's just so
before I play.
convenient.
It
It's
is
so
very
convenient for
easy.
parties,
It
though.
is
Yeah.
super easy, especially for my play group, because like a lot of times I don't know how many people will show up. Like
Yeah.
it can be somewhere between 3 to 6, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get 2 pizza, so I don't need
Yeah,
to worry
it's
about it.
so easy. It's convenient. It's like it's easy to serve with guests, and it's like you just need a plate and some napkins and a drink. You don't have to worry about like cutlery. You don't need like bowls or
Exactly,
anything. Just like throw it on
exactly.
a plate. It's the ultimate food. It has a handle on it. It's the only one of the only
Yeah.
foods to have an edible handle with it. It's amazing.
Well, bananas have handles on it. But I don't eat bananas when I'm playing at Magic.
All
Maybe I
right, what
should.
else?
What else? Jeez, this is actually a hard question. Why did I ask you that question? It's crazy. I mean, why
I don't
did
know.
you ask me that question? Um, what else? I'm gonna say something to munch on. Okay, so pepperoni stick is all the game stores around me.
You mean like Slim
They
Jims?
kind of, yeah, like Slim Jims, but
You know, I think those are
not necessarily that brand, but
yeah.
there
I
are.
think that's considered beef jerky.
Okay, so fine, beef
Yeah, beef
jerky.
jerky is
Yeah,
a good one. No, that's
because
a good
like
one.
a lot of the local game stores around me double as a convenience store. I think that's their model. Like where you have someone come in and play Magic, and oh, I'm hungry. Oh, this is a convenience store. I can buy some drinks and food.
I
And
mean, that's a good business model, I
yeah,
think.
and the jerky is one of like you can find it in any store, so it's pretty amazing actually. So that's one of the food I eat when I am playing at stores. Um, I also like eating. Well, yeah, I also like eating gummy bears when I'm playing. I
Oh,
don't
I love
anymore
gummy
because I
bears.
like it hurts my diet a lot, but I
It
don't
does.
anymore. But
Dude,
I used to.
like gummy candy, like gummy worms, gummy bears, those are like my bane. I love them.
Yeah, they're amazing. My
But not
number
the
one.
sugar-free kind.
Oh,
Stay away
not the.
from those.
Yeah.
Stay away from those. They're not worth it. You might think, oh yeah, I don't want the calories or whatever. I'll just get the sugar-free. Do not get the sugar-free.
I didn't even know
Unless you
they make
hate
sugar
yourself.
free. I'm gonna try some now. I want sugar free ones.
Unless you hate yourself and you
Dude.
want to sit on the toilet for like an hour.
Oh, okay. That.
Do
Oh, wow.
not
That sounds
get
terrible.
sugar-free.
All right, I won't get it then.
Wait, do you not know why not to get sugar-free?
I didn't know.
Have you heard the commercial "Where will you be when diarrhea strikes?" Because that's what happens when you eat sugar-free gummy food. And do
Oh my
not,
gosh,
yeah, do not.
that's
That's like
funny.
the evil. That's the evil prank you put on someone. Like if someone like eats a lot of gummy food, you give them sugar-free if you hate them.
Wow, that
Yeah,
sounds terrible.
it is. It's horrible. All
All
right,
right,
you got one left.
I got one left. I'm gonna choose. Just like you chose a restaurant. You chose Panda Express. I'm gonna choose Korean barbecue for
Oh,
undisclosed reasons.
oh, oh. I feel bad. No, I'm gonna change mine. I'm getting rid of hard candy. I'm putting Korean barbecue. It's time for number one as well
Why?
for undisclosed reasons.